Howdy folks, and welcome to another episode of Stanley and the Sea Can. Alright, today I thought we'd try something a little bit different, and we would go into the gun bans in Canada. We're still getting phone calls of people trying to buy parts or pieces or complete firearms even, that were affected by the various orders and councils that our friends in Ottawa have put through over the last couple of years. So I thought, let's just make a down-to-earth video that's not 30 minutes long of ranting and raving, and just say, look, here's the new rules, and that's just how it is, right? Because, well, that's who we elected, right? So the first order in council was May of 2020. And so what they did is they took away our AR-15s. So here's an AR-15 and all the high energy stuff, which was over 10,000 joules of energy, muzzle energy. So basically what they seemed to be targeting was 50 BMG, AR-15s, and anything that's bigger that you may have had laying around, like, oh, I don't know, 20 millimeter or so, or even bigger. There's some, they used to have non-restricted, like 37 millimeter, 40 millimeter little anti-tank guns and stuff that were kind of cool, and little carriage wheels and stuff. But so all that's gone now. It was non-restricted, now it's prohibited just because of the energy, because I guess you could do some damage with that, they're thinking. The other interesting part of this is they also made the AR-15 upper. So as you know, the AR-15 can come apart by pushing the pivot pin here and the takedown pin there. And so this is just a stripped upper that would go with it, right? That clips in. So they made these things prohibited as well. And the challenge with this is these were never serialized, but these, of course, are all serialized. So I like to think that I'm one of the cool guys who made my name on the list for each of the gun bans. So this particular gun ban, the May 2020, we got the TNA 15 was on the list. So there's one of them right there in the flesh. It seemed like that was kind of the be-all, end-all, what they wanted to do. And then the biggest huff and kapuff was they said you're still allowed to have 50 caliber guns. You can't have anything bigger than 20 millimeters. So this is a 12 gauge shotgun choke. And so if you were to bore out a barrel of a 12 gauge shotgun to have one of these interchangeable chokes, whether it's extended or just a flush mount, you know, cuts off here or whatnot, it's all irrelevant, but this diameter here could be 20 millimeters or bigger. So that basically means that shotguns, 12 gauge shotguns with a choke could be prohibited, but that has been resolved since then. They said that's not what it was about. It was about these big bad boys right here. You don't want to have something like that laying around, even if you downloaded it so it was only shooting at, you know, whatever, 2,000 feet per second or something. Still bad. So in essence, that's what they took away from us in the very first order in council, was the AR-15 platform, and there was 1,500 some odd guns on that list. They took away, most of them were just different variants. Like I have one, the next guy has one, Colt has 15 different variants, you know, Fax and several different manufacturers in the States all had slightly different variants. So there's the AR-15 style, which was this, uses Stanag, typically 5.56 type calibers. There was a AR-10 size, which was taken away, which had the 308 size guns. And then there's even bigger ones yet that were like doing 30-06, 300 Win Mag and stuff. And again, those were all on the list. Then of course you capture all these big high energy guns, like all of your Barretts, your bolt action 50s were all taken away. Collateral damage to that order in council was some of the big bore elephant guns and things like that, like really, really expensive guns that would be like, you know, like your 700 Nitro Express and stuff like that were all taken away partially because of the energy and partially because of the bore diameter being so big. So that's what they were after. It seemed that the intent was just to go after these military style, assault style weapons, even though there's no definition of what an assault weapon is. And yeah, there's also no definition of a variant. So we just kind of roll with the punches, what they're saying. So as of, I guess, May the 2nd, 2020, this bad, this bad, this bad, 12 gauge shotguns, good. And AR-15 uppers, bad. Doesn't matter if it's built, not built, whatever. And that's about it. Right, this will be the second in our 4-part little mini-series on gun bans in Canada in the last little while. So after the first gun ban, we had a couple years of relative stability, and then we had a new one in December of 2024, which was, well, very recently. So what they went after this time was a lot of pistol caliber carbines disappeared, some fancy looking 22s that kind of look scary. They began to go after bullpups, and of course we have our WK-180C. Like I said before, I'm one of the few people who got my name on the list every time, so this is a prototype of the TNA WK with all sorts of interesting marks and things as we were changing things and different aftermarket mods that we were working on, prototypes, all sorts of stuff. But so what were they going after this time? So this list kind of just appeared out of the blue. We weren't really expecting the WK to be on there. because there's so many of those now. It's a prolific gun, and it's based off of the AR-180B, which they specifically left off the first list. So why would you put it on the list the second time? So no one knows. We don't know. They don't know, I don't think. We got some of these Israeli type firearms. This is a bullpup. So it looks like it has a short little barrel, but in fact the barrel starts back here. So it's a bullpup action. This is a Tavor 7, and this here is just a little pistol caliber carbine. I believe that's a JR carbine. Yeah, so that's kind of what they went after. So it seemed like the idea for that list there was to capture the rest of the military style, you know, in parentheses there, military style, angry assault style weapons that were used and designed for military use only. So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because this was never used in the military. This is, of course, because this is Israeli stuff, but this was never used in the military, and no military would ever want to use those things, right? Like this, the AR-180B was specifically designed for the commercial market, and again, the JR carbines and the Thuron Defense and the FX9s and all those types of things, they were all made for the civilian market, just kind of training, plinking, the whole pistol caliber carbine, PCC type world. So one thing that we're kind of noticing here that is bad and they don't like is this kind of this functionality, this modular functionality is what seems like what they're really going after, where you can kind of add things, take things away nice and easy, you know, change your muzzle brakes, change your hand guards, put little M-LOK grips and all these things, adjustable stocks. They all kind of, to a layman, look the same, I guess you could argue. Maybe not this one so much, but these guys, you could say, oh yeah, it's the same thing. Sure, just maybe something's a little bit different in there, but whatever, it's all the same. That's kind of what we're thinking with the second gun ban, the December of 2024 gun ban. So again, it was kind of trying to finish off the list and take away a whole bunch of these types of things that kind of look like an AR-15, which is regardless of how it functions, whether it's the same caliber, the same style, the same anything, it's just all kind of what they're going after. So it's kind of become a gut feeling that they really, really don't like the idea of having detachable magazines and centerfire firearms. There was a lot of 22 caliber, like plinking type things. There's like the GSG 16s and 15s and all these things. These are firearms that look kind of similar to this, but we're shooting 22 long rifle that were captured by these lists. And that was, I think, very upsetting to a lot of people. Because again, there's absolutely no way any military would have ever had any interest in having those types of firearms. But that's what they say, military style assault weapons, right? So whatever that means, they don't know, we don't know. We're just kind of rolling with the punches here, right? So the second ban, again, finishing off anything that kind of looks like an AR, assault rifle, right, of course, or I guess we just want to forget that Armalite was involved in there somehow. And then the second major kind of topic of things they were going after now is the bullpups. So in the second gun ban, we also lost the PS90s, the FS2000s, all these kind of interesting bullpup type firearms, a bunch of the shotguns. They also took away all the shotguns, or pretty much finished their list of taking away shotguns that look like AR style. So anything that kind of had this look and feel was now bad, effective on, well, December 2024. Another complete style that they tried to take away, and relatively successful in the December of 2024 gun ban, was any of these belt-fed type firearms, regardless whether they were made to be semi-auto only with special left-hand plates, right-hand plates. Specifically, the right side plates are the registered firearm when it comes to something like that. And then again, some of these types of firearms over here could have a TNW MG34. Again, it's belt-fed. There were some smaller companies like Tippmann and Lakeside Machine that had even 22 long rifle firearms. Some of them looked like this 1919 style. Some of them were built up, like the Vindicator was built up to look more like a kind of like a Tommy gun type thing. They all were captured on the 2024 ban. So belt-fed bad, detachable magazines bad, bullpup bad, anything that looks like a AR bad. So this is going to be our third video about the new Canadian gun bans that have been coming out and keeping us all on our toes. So taking a quick step back, we survived the December 2024 gun ban by the skin of our teeth. They took away bullpups like in rifle calibers and a lot of 12 gauge ones, but they did miss some 12 gauge ones. So I left this Tavor 7 out because it shows you the style, right? So at this point in March of 2025, basically anything that looks like this, where you have the magazine back here kind of under your armpit type area with the pistol way in front, pistol grip way in the front, trigger group way in the front, all of that stuff is bad. So if you have anything that looks like this, doesn't matter how benign, how anything, that's now illegal. And they also took away, with great detail, like every single variant of this thing, the M1 carbine. So it's kind of like the world's first PCC, really. Maybe not the first, but it was a real commercial wartime masterpiece of pistol caliber carbines. So very simple design, nice and easy, and it was made by tons and tons of companies. So that's why there's so many different variants of the M1 carbine on the list. So by this time, we've got our new minister of, public safety or public something or other, telling us that they take away all these evil war guns, and there's any gun that was designed for war is gone now. The world's gonna be a safer place, and there's not gonna be any more gun bans. But I'm not gonna hold my breath on that one. So the reason I left this Tavor 7 out is because I made the list again. Yay, True North Arms. We lost our Ross 1 bullpup 12 gauge. And so it basically looked like this, 12 gauge though, instead of 5 or 7.62 by 51, and it just had a nice big magazine back here for 12 gauge shells. And yeah, so by the time we end up today, which is the end of March, early April 2025, anything that looks like this, bad. Most everything that looks like this, like a semi-auto World War II, is bad. They got the SVT-40. They got a few other stragglers that were left in there. Some of the interwar guns that were between World War I and World War II. They didn't really take away anything else that was high energy or bolt action. And interestingly enough, they left the SKS, they left the M1 Garand, they left the Valmet, they left all sorts of interesting firearms for no reason, really. I guess some people use them for sustenance hunting, which you can make an interesting argument that you could use this for sustenance hunting or this for sustenance hunting. But that's where they left us with. So you can use sustenance hunting with a SKS or an M1 Garand, but you can't use a 22 caliber firearm that looks like this anymore if you were going to shoot a rabbit or something with that. That's bad now. So that's kind of where we left off now. And again, they've promised there's no more gun bans coming. There's going to be something coming with the magazines. They don't like how we were able to put rivets in them to restrict capacity in the past. So there's probably something coming down the lines with that. I'm not going to wear my tinfoil hat too loosely today, but it's probably something to do with a pending election. No matter what, we're having an election in October of 2025. So it's been a fantastic whipping boy for the certain parties in government to just keep targeting firearms. And all these evil firearms that are used in crimes they're nowhere to be found on this table, that's for sure, and or any other tables I showed you. But that's what they're telling us. That's the narrative they're selling. So we just keep drinking the Kool-Aid, and we believe that, yeah, people are driving around shooting at each other with World War II relics like this, with incredibly expensive and hard to find ammunition and magazines. But that's what we need for safety, I guess. All right, thanks so much. So we're in late March, early April 2025, and these are the firearms, some of them, that we're still allowed to have. So as our fearless leaders have told us, there's no weapons of war allowed. So we have an SKS, which has obviously never been used in any sort of combat anywhere in the world. We have an M1 Garand, which again has never seen combat anywhere in the world. And we've got all these bolt action guns that, well, they were never designed for anything besides sustenance hunting, apparently. So this is kind of a quick example of what's left in our world, or what we're allowed to have, if you want something that's kind of has a military type flair to it. So again, the SKS, they say it was specifically avoided from the gun bans because it's used for sustenance hunting by so many people in Canada. M1 Garand, we really don't know why they didn't take that one. Probably because it's just freaking cool rifle and legally allowed to have 8 rounds in there on the clip, and that's one of the only guns you can get in Canada that actually runs a clip, not a magazine. And yeah, then we have, of course, our bolt actions. This is like a Chinese copy of a Mauser action. A little bit rough, but you get the idea, right? The other types of semi-autos that we're still allowed to have is, some specifically designed firearms, like this here Browning BAR Mark III. So, the original Browning bars were definitely used in World War II. They were full auto 30-06. And now we have these guys here, which are obviously commercial models. They don't have the nice humpback, so it's a different operating mechanism on the inside and stuff. But yeah, these are totally good to go. So this semi-auto, this is the large full-size caliber, like 30-06 or something like that. This is definitely 30-06. This is 308, and this is, of course, 7.62 by 39. So these are the types of firearms they want us to have and feed our families with. and this is kind of the types of stuff you're looking for. So I guess comparing these firearms to each other and to the stuff on the previous tables, we see now there's a lot more wood on here. Yeah, sure, you can get wooden or polymer stocks or metal stocks or adapter kits and things to convert these firearms. This here looks shockingly similar to the M1 carbine, but somehow it's different. I guess having 30-06 is a little bit less dangerous than having 30 carbine, but I don't know how that math works out. One of the biggest key features of these, I guess you could say to all of them, is that they don't have readily detachable magazines. This guy here, sure, you can detach the magazine, but it's kind of attached to a floor plate, and to rip all this off, it's not something you can quick change. M1 Garand, of course, you've got this bottom plate here, and it feeds 8-round strippers, or not strippers, sorry, just 8-round clips, end block clips to the top. And here, bolt action, so it's typically a different beast, even though some bolt actions have been banned before, especially high energy ones. And the SKS, with our fancy duck bell magazine, and if you try to drop that out, it just dumps and peaks its cartridges all over the place. Can any of these be modified to run different types of magazines? Possibly. Don't know. Never tried it. Could they be made to look cooler with different stocks, different chassis, different optics rails and things? Yeah, absolutely, right? These older war guns don't really have good provisions in factory conditions here for scopes and optics and things, but this Browning here has your standard drill and tap provisions for a Picatinny rail. Then you could put whatever optic you want on there. And yeah, so this is kind of where hunting and firearms collecting and the like is headed to in Canada after this last gun ban, on which we've been promised there'll be no more. Like I said, I'm not holding my breath. Thanks.
lost and you're feeling low, all stressed out with no place to go. You need something to ease your troubled mind. Social media and sleepless nights, final call for the deadline flight. All you want is to leave it all behind. Now there is a simple remedy to stay fit for all eternity. Spoonful, spoonful, just a spoonful a day. Spoonful, spoonful, the doctor says it's okay. Spoonful, spoonful, just a spoonful a day. Spoonful, spoonful, the doctor says it's okay. And you don't have to watch your weight. Load up your portion control plate. Just a spoonful burns the fat away. It's fantastic and it's for free. And as long as you agree to be the product, you'll never have to pay. 'Cause there is a simple remedy to stay fit for all eternity. Spoonful, spoonful, just a spoonful a day. Spoonful, spoonful, the doctor says it's okay. Spoonful, spoonful, just a spoonful a day. Spoonful, spoonful, the doctor says it's okay. you're feeling low, all stressed out with no place to go. You need something to ease your troubled mind. Social media and sleepless nights, final call for the deadline flight. All you want is to leave it all behind. Now there is a simple remedy to stay fit for all eternity. Spoonful, spoonful, just a spoonful a day. Spoonful, spoonful, the doctor says it's okay. Spoonful, spoonful, just a spoonful a day. Spoonful, spoonful, the doctor says it's okay. And you don't have to watch your weight. Load up your portion control plate. Just a spoonful burns the fat away. It's fantastic and it's for free. And as long as you agree to be the product, you'll never have to pay. 'Cause there is a simple remedy to stay fit for all eternity. Spoonful, spoonful, just a spoonful a day. Spoonful, spoonful, the doctor says it's okay. Spoonful, spoonful, just a spoonful a day. Spoonful, spoonful, the doctor says it's okay.